kids down. The kids didn't ask for it. Current SRF codes break when 6.1 comes out. They shouldn't. I'm not promising they won't, but they shouldn't. It's May, so it is. Reminded me that I need to pay my rent today. I kind of lost track of dates for the past month or so. Is David ever on time? Yes. David is precisely on time. The event start time is an estimate. Time is a slippery concept. No, it's more wibbly wobbly. On status, because usually other people are taking care of it. That status probably would have been from me had I been awake. Music. Oh, did it start while I briefly muted? It was singing time. No, it was coughing time. Office hours today, yes. Hello.
Doing the announcement. All right, it's looked like it leveling off. No, it's still going up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's about leveled off.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming. This is the weekly Midjourney office hours. We do it every week at Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Basically, what we do is we talk about what we're working on, what we're thinking about, and then we take questions. So let's get started. The most recent thing is we're opening up the website to more people, now to everybody with at least 100 images. Our hope is that that's a pretty low bar, but it means that you've at least figured out how to use Discord and you come back to Discord if you need help. So, if you have any problems, if you need to talk to people, I would talk to people on Discord. It's the place where the community is. But once you have 100 images, you can try using the website. And there's even some group room creation stuff there too, which is pretty fun. So give it a shot and let us know what you think. We're kind of in the process of doing a lot of bugs and stabilization. Like the creation of the website was down for like 6 hours today. So, as more people try to get onto it, it broke a server somewhere. So that's kind of the goal, is to, I guess, kind of break things and figure out how to improve it and just sort of keep going. And so, yeah, that's kind of the goal. And as more people get on it and we see everyone's happy, we'll start to let random people in from the internet who don't have Discord accounts to try it too. And then if those metrics go good, we'll open it to everybody. I think there's a lot of things we want to add still before we open it up to everybody. We want to have more help resources on the website, FAQs, some videos, maybe like a little chatbot thing, kind of like Charon, the chatbot that answers questions on the support thing on our Discord, and just things that tell people if the service is down and stuff like that. And so we're gonna try to work on the help system, I think, is the main thing, and then yeah, and then kind of just sort of randomly let people in and see how people like it, and then kind of go from there. I'm pretty cautious about this stuff because like there are a lot of people who use it, and if somebody gets onto the website and they don't have a Discord account, it's very possible they'll never get a Discord account. So we kind of want to make sure that here and we can talk to them and kind of do things in a careful way. And yeah, possible in some ways we've been over conservative, but I think if there's anything we've been over conservative in, it's in. And I think if anything, the opposite. We were kind of overly aggressive. We tried to make a whole new user interface, and I think the only thing we could have done to go faster is to just basically exactly duplicate the Discord one, rather than making something new on web. But we really wanted to try to make web better, so that's been a bit of a pain. But I think there's definitely some areas where it is much better, so I think we're doing a good job. Yeah, I mean, historically, it takes a long time to build like a complex tool on the internet. So the AI world moves pretty fast, and in some ways, it's faster to make a new model than it is to make a new website, which is kind of funny, but I guess it says something about how websites will get made in the future. Yeah, one of the nice things about AI models is that like the model code itself is in many ways really clean and simple, and you kind of give it the data, and you kind of tell it what it should learn from, what it should say, and then what's right and what's wrong, and kind of starts to figure everything out on the inside. Whereas most large projects are these valiant work of a lot of people, kind of writing out the logical steps and sequences of every individual component and tests for every component to make sure it's working. So kind of interesting. Like, we're in a place where we kind of have both sort of more conventional software engineering and then non-conventional software engineering. And, some parts seem like they're fast in comparison to others. And I think that's because they are fast and the other things are normal speed. So very grateful for being able to progress at a normal speed with a high quality website. Yeah, we'll try to appreciate that. And then in parallel, we're also working on three or four or five main things on the model side. One is the personalization, which is we want to have the models like personalized to people. And that means it doesn't necessarily mean style. It means like it's more about bias. So the models, if you just say cat, it has to assume a lot of things that you don't say. And so trying to get it to learn a bit more from you. So when you're vague, it kind of understands what you like. Sort of the personalization we're talking about. It's going to be very simple. It's going to be one personalization per person at the beginning. People will be able to share the personalizations. It'll use your likes and your pair rankings. We've been testing it for like a month or two. There are times where it works really well, and there are times where it doesn't work well. And we realized it's due to some numerical instabilities in the training process, which make it sort of randomly not work well for half the people. So we've been resolving that, and we're starting to get to it to be more stable. So it's working well for everyone in theory. So I think we're going to tweak that a bit for another week, and then we'll go back into our testing phase, and then we'll see if it passes the testing phase. We'll try to release it to everybody. I think before, our main thing that was blocking us was the infrastructure, just something that takes all the user data and computes all the personalizations from it. But that part is now caught up, and now it's just on the stability of the and the sort of final tuning of the personalization side. So that's coming. We also have a version of v6.1, which will have better image quality. Hopefully better image quality, better text, faster speed, and better hands and body coherence. So each of those things are making progress. We had a few people out of the office for a week, so not as fast progress as we'd like necessarily, but they are making progress. And there's little artifacts, and we're trying to kind of get rid of all the little artifacts and kind of all the little final things, and training and more training and more training. And then hopefully everything should be good. And then the 6.1 will be, I think, quite significant. A lot of the things that I don't like about V6 in terms of the sort of the little pixel glitches or the different coherence things, a lot of them just seem like they just go away, and it looks really good. And so my hope is that, V6.1 with the image quality and coherence and personalization improvements will kind of be the last version of V6, that there probably won't be a V6.2. And then we're kind of full-blown focused on V7. With V7, I think we're going to have the model's going to be much, much smarter, going to be much better at prompt, like much, much better at following prompts. It's going to have a lot more knowledge of things. It'll still have all the better personalization and the coherence and all that. I think it'll be better at having lots of multiple objects without merging things. And I think, and there's some open questions still about whether it's going to be faster or a different resolution or something like that. I think we're not totally sure yet, because it kind of depends on a lot of tests that we haven't had time to finish. Some of the 6.1 improvements will probably also improve the upscaler. So I don't think we've yet really wrapped our heads around what much better image quality means out of V6. And so once we see better image quality out of V6 and the upscaler, we'll have to kind of reevaluate what resolutions people really want for the default and the upscalers. In a lot of ways right now, I think the current resolutions are not, like, at any resolution we generate, it's not really perfectly sharp or perfectly high quality. So in some ways you always want higher, but then once it's really good, then maybe you don't, and it kind of changes the game. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm really hoping that as we get that there'll be a lot of really cool stuff in V7 as we get this other stuff out the door and able to focus on it. Right now, I think the V7 is going a little slow because there aren't enough people on it. There are some people also playing with video and some people playing with 3D. All of them are moving along just at a slower speed. I think any of them could be going twice as fast right now if we focused on one thing. But I think in a lot of ways, all the things are kind of related to each other. on a longer term period. So we kind of have to hope that, over a year, we kind of get to the world simulator stuff that we want to get to at the same speed, even though we could have maybe like rushed to V7 specifically faster if that was the only thing we had worked on. So, a lot of ways, I think we're kind of optimizing globally for sort of the global progress we want to make towards a bigger goal rather than sort of locally, like just get this one feature out. Kind of have to hope that's the right decision. But yeah, as the ancient Chinese saying goes, no man on earth nor God in heaven knows what to do. So we'll just do our best. And yeah, I think that's the main things that are going on. Let's see. Yeah, I still think I feel like 3D is still going to come out before video, but it's always hard to know because there's some video stuff that always tends to gets better too, and then they're kind of racing each other. But I'm pretty optimistic around 3D. I think the 3D will be basically perfect. I think it'll like blow 3D graphics out of the water. It kind of makes sense. Like 3D graphics have been trying to do like photorealism for decades, and then the first year or two of the new AI stuff basically got there. So if the AI can kind of get to something in 1 or 2 years that computer graphics has been struggling to for 30 years, it seems very likely that the AI stuff will overtake the conventional graphics world. And so, that's been one of our challenges, is that we can't really train on 3D graphics to make the 3D version of Midjourney, or else it makes it look worse. So we have to basically go out into the world and gather 3D data in the real world to basically keep the Midjourney quality bar for our 3D stuff. So that's one reason why it ended up being like 6 months delayed. So the hardware team has built our scanning hardware. We're we're collecting some early data with it, and then we'll keep going. Maybe one day we'll show off a lot of our scanning stuff. We'll see. Anyway. Yeah, I think we can do a lightning round. So put your questions in the chat. I see some people are confused. Our current plan is to go from V6 to 6.1, then focus on 7. I don't think there'll be a 6.2 or a 6.5. V7 is not really something that is sort of training. The final model is not training. We're training candidate models and components of the models, and we're testing those components. Actual final model doesn't take that long to train, maybe like 3 weeks. But so usually we spend a month or two just trying to testing all the subcomponents. But it is fairly expensive to train the final model, so you don't really want to just train the final model over and over again. You want to break it up and validate the individual things. Every system is pretty different. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're seeing that much surprises on the web. I think we want to see more people in the rooms, so that's the biggest thing we're kind of interested in seeing. Is sort of like what people are on the rooms, how do they feel about them? Storytelling team is building cool stuff. Is there a way to have a team plan to work on Discord server? I'm not sure what that means, I'm sorry. 3D will not just be photorealistic. Not, yeah. Have I been scanned into 3D? Yeah, probably. Not lately. It's hard to say when 6.1 will be working. Like, we have all the components of it working, but we haven't put all the components together, and each of the components have the little bugs. So we're trying to fix the bugs of each of the things, and then we'll put them together. So if we fixed all the bugs this week, it would still take another week to put them together. So it's probably a bit, unfortunately. It's really dragging out, but I'm trying to get people to come together and figure out the things and push it over the line. But so I'm very optimistic it's going to be great when we get them together. Yeah, there's a button that says start call, and everyone's very confused about it. It's for audio, so we're going to say join voice or something soon, so people know what it means. What's the first virtual world I would build? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have like I'm not like a guy where there's like one story I've wanted to tell my whole life and this is just the one thing I want to do. I think I like to kind of play, and there's a lot of things I sort of find that are beautiful in the process of playing. Do you mind talking about the idea of an exponential curve? Why is there a consensus that AI progress is on an exponential curve? It's not really. I mean, you have a lot of things that are contributing to AI progress. You have the processors doubling in speed every 18 months. The processing power that people can use, rather, is like doubling every, whatever, 8 to 18 months. And then so the amount of compute is increasing. So you could say that's an exponential curve. The amount of compute that people have available is exponential. I would say the data is probably not exponential. The algorithms individually lead to big improvements. Yeah, it's not really. The only thing that's probably clearly moving an exponential is the amount of training compute that's available. Whether or not the amount of training compute actually leads to exponential improvements is an open question. But I think the idea is that it's relatively easy to make progress relative to normal software because so much of the thing is sort of tuning itself that we are seeing a lot of progress. I don't think we need exponential progress to to get to a really interesting world. If we get to 10x where we are right now across the industry, over 20 years, it's still enough to like change things pretty deeply. So, yeah, I don't think anybody really knows what the progress curve looks like, but it's pretty good. Yeah. I don't really know what we're going to do about sref codes. I think it'll probably be similar, but I'm not sure exactly what the sref code roadmap is. We'll see how people like it and how people use it. Um, I'm not sure what we're going to do for Niji. We don't really have like a clear Niji roadmap right now. The Niji team is playing a lot with video right now because they think that that the quality might not be noticed as much as video for anime in the future. Yeah, which may or may not be right. Hard to say, but I mean, one thing for sure is that V7 will be better. I think V7 will be better at anime than Niji 6 is. So whether we have a Niji 7, I mean, I guess we'll probably try to do an Niji 7. So I think mainly the Niji team is working on video. The other team is, the rest of the team is working on V7. And then, so Niji will kind of be mostly behind. I would say Niji is sort of always a bit behind the main model, but it has its own advantages, and we're grateful for it. And the video, and then, the team is working on video right now there, which is great, and that will be useful. We do think mobile will get better, over the next few months, but it's not quite the priority yet. I think we will bring rooms to mobile at some point. I like the 3D World Before November thing. That's funny. What is my personality type? I'm not sure. It used to be INTJ, INTP, but Myers-Briggs is not super repeatable, meaning that every time you test it, you take it, it's kind of different, and it's not backed up by statistics. But so it's not clear if it's like a valid scientific instrument, but it is written well, and it is structured well, so it has like this compelling it's sort of emotionally, it's definitely like emotionally compelling system. Maybe we'll make our own personality test soon. Midjourney personality survey. Is there a text to video model plan in the future? I think we're going to do text to image and then image to video. Maybe one day we'll do text to video to help direct the video, but I mean, we're not super interested in trying to do Hollywood type stuff, so I think it's not a focus for us. When we do a virtual world creator, it will all be happening in the cloud, so it should run on anything, just like the normal image stuff. We're not working on posing right now, but we could imagine doing posing in the future. We would like to do better pixel art. It's possible pixel art will be better. If Red wants to get scanned, you can probably get scanned at some point. The storytelling team is working on these storytelling tools to help people collaboratively tell stories together. In theory, you can also use it by yourself. Pretty cool. I don't know if we're going to have a Midjourney Android app, but we will have some kind of app that just uses the website. So right now I just like drag the website to my phone and I use that on my phone and it works pretty well. I think there'll be a pretty big jump between 6 and 7, but I think we don't yet know exactly yet how good 6.1 is going to be or what exactly is in 7, so I can't say that much yet. But I think if there isn't any pressure to come out with V7 sooner rather than later, we'll probably take our time and try to make it bigger rather than smaller. Yeah, I think 3D will start from an image. I think starting from an image generally makes sense for everything. I don't know if 3D will improve 2D. Maybe it will one day. We're not doing more changes with sref right now, but maybe at some point we could change it more. We don't give numbers for how many images are made a day, but a lot. It's possible at some point we will add more conversation-based prompting. We've definitely done some prototypes with it, but I think I'm not super into it right now. I think we're more likely to do real-time prompting than conversation prompting, so something that's really fast. Yeah, we're going to bring back the ability to heart images in rooms. Yeah, we will probably do a thing at some point that lets people contribute data with, take video and stuff. If you want to run random multiple times, I just do dash dash sref random dash dash repeat 5 or something, and that works pretty well. I'm not sure what the new G6 launch event means. There is a character consistency thing already. Check it out. We'll get better for V7. We're not looking at video to video right now. One day it would be cool. We try not to do stuff that's just cool. We try to do things that are like long term. There's a lot of really cool gimmicky things we could do. I'm not convinced that video to video is maybe for like Yeah, I'm not sure about video to video. I mean, maybe if it's real time and you can use it as like an avatar, all the furries can use it. That'll be cool. But not like totally sure. There's no plans for an EG6 style expressive right now. Yeah, it's possible to do a lot of things with the srefs, but I'll write some stuff down. Multiple sref codes. Sref code with images. All right, maybe we'll add it. I mean, it's just, yeah. How do I unwind on the weekends? I mostly just sleep. I try to get outside or do something with friends. I've been playing StarCraft a little lately. We are hiring. Careers at midjourney.com. Editing your own images. It's not something we're working on right now, but it's something that we, will eventually think about more. Probably try to normalize the parameter ranges more for V7. How's my day? I'm okay. I fell asleep on the couch. That wasn't great. And then I woke up at like 6 a.m. So I don't know why I did all that. It's like, yeah, well, falling asleep on the couch is in one way good, in other ways not quite as good as falling asleep on a bed. Um, yeah, I think there'll be physics controls in the future, but I think control comes last, unfortunately. Kind of we have to build the models first, and try the controls get better over time. Played Elden Ring for like an hour, but I haven't played it for a long period of time. Who's my favorite philosopher? It's Zhuangzi, ancient Chinese father of Taoism. Who else do I like? Man, I'm not even sure what second place would be. Socrates? If you could remove one smell from existence, what would it be? Oh, I think a lot of people like to debate whether Lao Tzu or Zhuangzi came first. I like to say that Zhuangzi came first, but who knows? We're not planning on doing text to smell. No smell AIs, I'm sorry. A smell to image? I think smell to image is more interesting than text to smell, yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna avoid smell to image. We're not planning on having any kind of Midjourney marketplace for selling images. We're trying to avoid sort of hyper commercialization. We're gonna add some APIs at some point for people to do personal generation and looking at their own images. Yeah, I think we'd love to do music visualization at some point. It's very smell. Subtle or strong. Yeah. Cool. I think we're making a lot of progress today. So let's take some voices and then we'll do another lightning round. Yeah, we're working on improving text generation for things other than English. I think Japanese and Chinese work a little bit in Niji. but nothing else yet.
Niji also accepts Korean.
Hmm.
Hello.